nowhere else in the world I'd rather be
The
right
very
now.
creation of the word "it" in the structure of our language means that, well, what
Some
is
things are
it?
just really so obvious and inevitable. I think that's probably what people saw.
Spun up out of all kinds of abstractions that everybody perceives in their own way.
It felt good. It all felt right.
We're at it.
It implies existence. It implies that it is something as opposed to nothing.
Love, it is life. It is
Well, what is it? It could be so many things.
better people. Community.
Congratulations on making it. Welcome to It.
There's no particular meaning it was a liberating feeling, I would say.
You really leave it up to each person to decide what it is.
I have no idea what it is. None.
The reason it works so much as a festival is something happens when the whole emotional flow of the entire weekend is tied up with a group experience between the audience and us.
Fish has been doing these festivals for, I don't know how many years back now since.
We always had this idea from way back, when it was just the four of us in the basement and we would play shows and maybe 5 people would come. We had this idea of taking it up new levels and new places and doing things in ways that were unconventional.
We found over the years that when we were left alone and no one was watching, we would relax and get ourselves out of the way, and that's when the really great stuff would happen. So we started making these festivals that were further and further away from the center of civilization, you know?
It's definitely remote. You feel the remoteness of it, and you feel the distance that people had to, the trouble and the distance that they had to come to get there. With each one, there's definitely a vibe of, you know, we've made it here, we've got here, you know, thousands of people all with that, like, we finally got here, you know, and I think for us, it sort of probably helped us to sort of rise to the occasion because, you know, you feel like, well, you better not get up there and not make it worth their while.
What it was boiling everything down to its essence. What do we still have among the four of us that's worth pursuing and that feels like a seed that can continue to grow? And are we going to be able to kickstart this group? Something's got to change.
It's easy sometimes when you just coast along, but like it or not, something always seems to go wrong. Sometimes people build you up just so they can knock you down. Sometimes they will have you there because they need someone around. Perhaps you'll receive invitations for tea. Perhaps you will laugh and you'll make them all smile. Or maybe you'll join them, cause it had to be. Perhaps you'll forget that you forgot for a while. Birds of a feather are flocking outside. 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 Like whippets they dance in a curly-Q dance. A pulse is in ringing and campfire chants of ritual drumming. Although at first glance you thought you could run, but you won't take a chance. It's not an experience if they can't bring someone along. They hang on emotions, they bottle inside, they peck at the ground and they strut out of style. Birds of a feather are flocking outside. Birds of a feather are flocking outside. Birds of a feather are flocking outside. Birds of a feather are flocking outside.
what we're trying to do is give people an experience that they wouldn't be able to get anywhere. Music that doesn't sound like anybody else, in an experience that could never happen anywhere else.
We talk a lot about blurring the lines between when the show starts and when the show ends, trying to not really have it be a show, but all to be part of just life. At IT, we just created our own town, and the rules are a little different within this town. We want people to have this experience, and that we're like providing the backdrop. And part of the backdrop is strange, kind of eerie bits and pieces that some of them are going to see and some of them aren't, you know, but not that we would have to be the center of attention, that it's about us, it's about them.
The Sunken City was kind of what really hit me more than anything. To make these incredible icons and buildings and sink them into the ground as if they're nostalgic before you even see them for the first time.
It was sort of like old, kind of timeless old, like, is this the 50s? What is this, the future? I'm not sure.
There's something sort of beautiful and tragic at the same time about that and about letting go.
It was supposed to be a festival where there were events that weren't really events until the people were there. And there's enough of those things that even a group of friends could come and split off, and one person might go run the 5K, one person might go to the rock garden, one person might go to see the band playing in the Sunken City inside of that cool TV thing, and have all these adventures. And then at the end of the night, sit around the campfire and be able to tell stories about all the crazy stuff. You know, and we try to keep it as open and fluid as possible.
jamming is very conversational, and if you have something to say, you step up and say it, and maybe you're talking at the same time that somebody else is talking, and hopefully that can be happening in a nice mesh, in a way that fits together. Or if somebody else seems to have something important to say, you're listening and following them.
We all go up and we're all talking at the same time, but we all know how to make room for each other. We're listening. I can talk with my guitar, and I know everybody's listening to me,
right.
and I can try to say something interesting or try to say something mundane, and I can hear what you guys are saying, and it's genuinely a conversation.
Right.
Nobody butts in at the wrong time. The flow of the conversation gets very quiet at the right times.
Yeah. I'm always happy when the band is very solid and tight sounding, but not at the expense of the looseness, which is to be able to stretch limits, you know, just to not know what's going to happen, I guess, and to throw caution to the wind.
Our whole musical endeavor is to embrace fearlessness, is to just go, look, hey, you know, you fall on your face. And this music is a great place to do that because no one gets hurt.
There are things that happen when we're improvising where a jam will go on for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and all of a sudden at 17 or 18 minutes something will happen where it gets to this place musically where if you hadn't persevered and kept pushing on for those first, you know, through the first 15 minutes of the jam, you never would have seen this thing. This music never would have been created at all. It just would not have been, and now we have that, and it's a little bit like that for the band too, where you don't know where it's going to go, you don't know what's going to happen, but you know that if you keep working at it, that it's going to, there are going to be these moments, these high moments of exploration and discovery.
The music seems blissfully out of control.
The older you get, the more you can accept the things that you can't control, and the more enjoyable the boat that you're in that you can control, you know, becomes.
The essence somehow seems to live in or flourish in what isn't planned, that you couldn't plan, or if you wanted to, you're interfering somehow with the divine plan, probably, by trying to plan.
I firmly believe that there is a bigger pattern, divine power that exists, you know, and if you want to call it God, you can call it God and have your own religion or but we are insignificant, and there's something much bigger to us. And the beauty of music is that it's a language that speaks directly to the divine.
Music is kind of like a dream for me. Music, not only music, but the whole concept of playing and like with a festival like this, it's very dreamy. You know, everything. There's so many little scenes and interesting looking people, and it's all in this faraway place that's different from the normal reality. So it's very much like a dream. I think that's a real portal for me. I don't think it's a distraction. I think it's the essence of the music itself, because the dream brings me closer to my soul.
earth-beating worker. I'm Chisman, the family berserker. I'm bought for the price of a flagon of rice. The wind buffs the cabin. You speak of your life, or more willingly locust and learner. What you can of the ending and revise your despise. So that soak on the wrath that you didn't quite mask. I'm getting it clearly through alternate paths. So they sin with the signal you're singing. But who can learn all the facts that I've learned? And I sat in the chairs and my synapses burned. The torture of chalk just connects on my tongue. Thoughts follow my vision and dance in the sun. All my vassal Christian cause it goes slowly undone. Get this way to love, oh, can I live by? But no peace for Jesmond tonight. I've drugged the distress to my side. What I say as it flutters away to where all this emotion is kept harmless at bay, not to educate somebody's brain. But who can learn all the facts that I've learned? And I sat in the chairs and my synapses burned. The torture of chalk does collects on my tongue. Thoughts follow my vision and dance in the sun. All my vassal constrictors they come slowly undone. Get this way till I'm old, can I live while I'm young? torture of charts is my legs on my tongue. Clouds follow my vision and dance in the sun. All my faster restrictions in the food undone. Wait till I'm old, can I live on now? Can I live on now? Can I live on now? We've been playing these outdoor festivals for a long time. The big leap was probably the Clifford Ball when we played in Plattsburgh, New York, and 75,000 people came to that concert. But the one to end all festivals was Big Cypress. Big Cypress, we played, it was the Millennium Concert from 1999 to 2000. The last set was from 11 o'clock at night until 8 o'clock in the morning, non-stop. It was just out of control. Big Cypress, as far as the four of us are concerned, was the end of an era. It was absolutely the exclamation point on 17 years or so that had been building continuously to that moment. And after Big Cypress, we were a little bit lost for a couple of years.
There were a lot of dreams that were fulfilled as a result of Big Cypress. It somehow felt like now are we just in this sort of coasting thing where we're just going to coast along and make a living and just be this thing that people follow around. And, you know, if we're going to just do that, well, then what's the point? Like, maybe we should do something else. So we all went off on our own and kind of got some of our yayas out. Everybody got to kind of go have affairs or something, you know, or just go and just do these side projects that they felt like they needed to do that they couldn't necessarily do in the context of Phish. And I think we'd all really let go of Phish during those 2 years. Like, by the time we came back around and, you know, like, we didn't even speak to each other like a year, basically. Everyone was cut off in their own thing, and we came back and said, if we're going to go forward, you know, there has to just be more of a renewal of a purity of purpose or something.
So it, to me, was the beginning of the next era.
I mean, I think the whole tour leading up to the IT Festival was this sort of pregnancy, and then bang, okay, wow.
The festival really did feel like the beginning of a new time for us, and I think no more clearly was it defined than in the Tower set, that it really felt like this is the sort of thing that is just mind-blowing and unique, and we're creating music in a way and in a place and in an environment that has never really been done before, and it did feel really fresh and really new, and I think somehow the Tower is symbolic of that to me.
Now we're on our way up.
Like the whole idea of this crazy, like, you know, War of the Worlds sci-fi thing happening with the Tower suddenly in the middle of the night, you know, crackling to life. This old, you know, airport that's not used anymore. Maybe it's being connected, you know, via some satellite or something. It was just going to be this strange, unexplained thing. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. They snuck us over in vans.
I like the being on a secret mission sort of feeling of it.
We ran up the spiral staircase, sneaking. We got up and we had all our little gear, and lights and smoke.
We could hardly see the people over the railing. They were way down there.
I had a few friends that actually thought that the tower was going to lift off, and then they had to reassure themselves, no, they're not going to do that. That would be way too dangerous.
Hovering is this sense of not power, but like being a bird. You know, the sense of freedom. I think being able to hover over the site like that, musically too.
There have been an awful lot of UFO sightings at Loring Air Force Base. And a guy who was working on my house recently who was stationed at Loring in the late 70s, he was in the control tower one night when one of these UFOs came to pay a visit. Loring had been one of the largest arsenals, both nuclear and non-nuclear weapons, and he said that this craft came down and hovered right over the nukes, and they scrambled their jets to come and chase this thing, the fastest jets they had, and it was just gone immediately, just took off the radar. I have no reason to disbelieve this guy. He's just a normal guy that when I told him we were playing Loring, he told me the story.
It was really fun to be like part of this thing that I knew had just this much bigger existence.
That's why I like that saying so much. Our intent is purely for your delight, you know? And part of the delight is, you know, I don't know, scariness, mystery, and then beauty.
The tower set was like, it was this coming together of all this great creativity of which we're part of, but no singular aspect of all the different ideas that went into it was like on display. That was probably, as a singular event, sort of summed up the IT Festival.
It was intense. Deeply intense for a lot of people.
The tower was an elegant piece of art. It rose above.
And it's also so obvious because it was always there.
Yeah.
And if you look at the plot of land, right in the middle of it, there's this tower. It's inevitable, you know, because there it is. It's like using something. I think that happens musically with us too. If you can accept what's already there, whether it's, you know, a groove that's happening or a sound effect, or maybe the groove is faster than usual or slower than usual, or the sound effect is dirtier than usual, or, you know, and all it takes is the attitude to just accept what's there already.
Acceptance precedes change, you know, and I think that that's actually been all along really what's been happening in the band, but no one really summed it up in, like, you know, 3 words, but it's just these sort of levels of, you know, like, just accepting the people for the way they are.
We really appreciate each other in a very whole way, not just the positive things that we bring to it, but the faults that we have, and accepting and embracing the faults of each other, and trying to make it work as a group. And that's the thing, you've been together for this long, it doesn't just happen. You don't just stay together for 20 years. You really have to work at it sometimes.
You know, I think we've all gone through, like, some dark tunnels of times in our personal lives, and during those times, the band has, more than anything in our lives individually, has served to sort of strengthen us, and it's sort of like the well that we all have been able to draw from.
There have been times when I wonder, and times when I don't. Concepts I ponder, and concepts I won't ever see. God isn't one of these. Former or latter. Which did you think I meant? It doesn't matter to me.
The IT Festival came at a very transitional period. I spent that whole entire tour leading up to it just assessing what was valuable in my life. Sticking to myself very much for the whole tour. And I was trying to get grounded and trying to get to the center of what it's really all about. Thinking my job here is to be playing music. And when it's really great, I feel like a straight line of people or a circle of people that I'm part of. And that everyone is trying to get to the same place, which is accessing that beauty that exists everywhere that's a little bit bigger than, you know, the underlying pattern or whatever it is. I think that people go through their day incredibly busy. There's stuff, you know, and to do and phone calls to answer and people to talk to. And sometimes I think that all that busyness is a way to avoid looking at yourself, and then by looking at yourself, your connection to the universe as a whole. And so at IT, our whole the intent was to break as many of those barriers down so that the people that were there could have a chance to maybe have a moment with themselves and with the greater flow. And see, that's why all the work that's done for the festival and all the time spent and all the making sure that everybody's comfortable and making sure that there's enough water and that people get enough rest and that they don't have to walk too far from their car to the tent, and all of that stuff is so that that can happen.
It's tough after playing a song 800 times, you know, or however many, to get really passionate about it. I might think, oh, you know, oh, this old song, you know, does this still do it for me? But at the IT Festival first night, where I sort of opened up my perception and my acceptance, being able to have that child's eye, that sense of wonder, it's hard when you're so much older and you've been there. But it's really worth trying to humble yourself to find it again.
That was a problem that we had is how are we gonna age gracefully within this framework? A difficult thing, because there's a lot of expectations from the audience. There were moments at IT that were very quiet and intense and that seemed appropriate for 39-year-old, 40-year-old men. Power and deep emotion doesn't have to come in loud volume and fast notes. As a matter of fact, it often goes the opposite way. The really heavy stuff is spacious. Usually there's a lot of air in the music, I find. That moment that stands out in my mind as the greatest moment, there was virtually nothing happening at all. Everybody was just standing there, and this slight vibration happening. Boom, 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 boom. And I felt totally in touch with the people at that concert in that moment.
drama divine. She'll fix it, drama divine. Fix it, drama divine. Boy, man, she'll fix it, dai mezzo fare. Boy, man, she'll fix it, dai mezzo fare. She'll fix it, drama divine.
The other night I was glancing across the stage and I saw the other three guys, and we were in the middle of some heavy jam and just trying to take it in and appreciate and say, this is a moment, I want to try and hang on to this and remember what this feels like. And it seems to be the only place in my life where I am completely comfortable when I'm up on stage, and I know my focus and I know what I'm supposed to do. And it's not just my experience and the experience that I'm having, but just knowing that I'm a part of this shared experience, whether it's 20,000 or 60,000 people. They travel hundreds of miles, wait in line for tens of hours to be a part of this community and this energy that they're unable to find anywhere else.
The feeling that I get when I'm on stage sometimes of unity that happens, I think that's a real feeling. It's not something that I'm just imagining. What's so cool about that is the idea that you get all these different people with utterly different lives and stories. Each one is a huge, rich tapestry, all different, standing in that space together. It's incredible.
I felt like we had earned the right to have all these people there because we really were playing our asses off, you know, and we were good. And I felt like we all felt confident that like this is, it got to like, I don't care what anyone says about this. This is a good band, you know. And it was sort of feeling, not in an arrogant way, but like you really felt like you had earned your keep. And this band can earn its keep, and there's a reason why this band is here.
was just 5 years old. You know there's nothing happening at all. Every time she turned on the radio, there was nothing going on at all. One fine morning she hears a New York station. She doesn't believe what she hears at all. She started dancing to that fine, fine music. You know her life was saved by rock and roll. Despite all the complications, you know you could just dance to that rock and roll station, and it was alright. It's alright. It was alright. When she was just 5 years old, you know my parents heard only the death of us all. 2 TV sets and 2 Cadillac cars, you know it ain't gonna help me at all. Then one fine morning she hears a New York station. She doesn't believe what she hears at all. She started dancing to that fine, fine music. You know her life was saved by rock and roll. Despite all the complications, you know you could just dance to that rock and roll station, and it was alright. It was alright. It was alright. When she was just 5 years old, you know there's nothing happening at all. Every time she turned on the radio, there was nothing going on at all. One fine morning she hears a New York station. She doesn't believe what she hears at all. She started dancing to that fine, fine music. You know her life was saved by rock and roll.
has to exist for the sake of beauty. Music has to exist for the sake of music. Art for the sake of art. The whole is far greater than the sum of its parts. You know, it's just, I mean, the musical levels that I've reached, the experiences that I've had, the personal evolutions that I feel like I've gone through, I could have never done on my own, but there's like this thread that is fish that runs through the whole thing.
The more landmarks we hit, the more we don't have to prove anything. The Ed Festival is probably the biggest manifestation of all that.
If you could only see what I see, when I walk on stage, I see the faces, I see joy. And if that's escapism for 3 hours, then fine. There's enough bad messages in our culture that people are getting bombarded with constantly. You're not good enough, you don't look right, you don't have enough money. And to be able to look at a large group of people looking back at me who look like they don't have a care in the world for 15 seconds. Not only that, but they feel like they're joy. There's actual joy etched into their faces for a bit of time. It's such an honor.
I know how lucky I am. People don't get to do this, and people don't get this sort of appreciation given back to them for what they do. And I really feel as lucky as anybody in the audience that gets to be a part of this, you know, that it's such a unique thing, and they get to enjoy this rare opportunity where people do come together and people do celebrate life and people do sing and they dance and they make noise and scream and have these cathartic experiences, and I'm one of them.
And if we have to go 10 hours up to Limestone, Maine and hide out from the rest of the world to do it and go through all that effort to be able to have that moment where me and that guy and her all together can just forget for a second and just remember that we're alive. And what a great thing to be alive. And what an amazing gift. The greatest. You know, wow. That's what it feels like. And I see it, you know? Wow.
Thank you so much. Thanks. We were talking about it backstage, and you know, really, we truly feel so blessed and so lucky to have this experience, and we couldn't have done it. You know, I mean, it's everybody. So thank you so much. It's been an incredible tour, and this has just been the clincher. Thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts. It's just incredible. You know, we love you guys, and thank you. So drive safe and be cool.
Sum up it. How I would sum up the IT Festival. Let's see. Well, how I would sum up the IT Festival? God, you know, just I'm like drawing a total blank. I don't know that, like.
Don't worry about it.
You've managed to stump me. You've managed to make me speechless, which is really hard to do, I think.